to New Orleans, you ought to go see the Mardi Gras. If you go to New Orleans, you ought to go see the Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Tonight we have one of the North Shore's parades that I have to say is taking Mardi Gras by storm. You know, they started in 2015, and we've been to every single one of them,
Sure.
and every year we can't wait to see y'all's parade. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the crew of Poseidon with us. How are y'all doing today?
Fantastic. Appreciate y'all having us tonight.
Yeah, so as I said, y'all started in 2015. What spurred on the origins of the parade? How did it come to be?
Well, we had a lot of friends that got together, and some had been in all-male crew, all-female crews, and some that had ridden in New Orleans and just wanted to come back to Slidell. So we kind of got it together and said, you know, what do we want to do to make a traditional parade and bring a lot of groups to Slidell that have never been here before? And like so many great things, it starts off pretty simply at somebody's kitchen table and throwing out ideas, and little by little it built, and a 2-year plan that we had became very quickly a 1-year plan, and next thing you know, we were rolling out on Apache Train Drive on our first day. Actually, daytime parade began.
The first parade was a day parade. I know that for the first few years, y'all were a day parade. And then, year before last, y'all changed to a night parade?
We rolled for the first 2 years in day, and city said, you know, it's a shame, you're pulling big crowds. It'd be nice if you were a nighttime parade, and asked us if we would be interested in moving to a nighttime, and we said sure. And I think our membership was pretty happy about that as well. So we've seen the crowds continue to rise by going to nighttime.
Way better. I mean,
Pretty
I
fun.
have to say,
It's transformational,
both,
absolutely.
you know,
With what you throw, the interaction with the crowds, absolutely.
So, one special thing with y'all's crew as well is y'all have a lot of big hitters when it comes to the marching groups. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, typically when you go to a North Shore parade, the highlight things are going to be like St. Paul's. Well, y'all have St. Paul's plus 30 other really awesome marching groups. You know, how did y'all pick that to? I mean, it's really one of the things that we always take home from every parade. Where we're like,
that was,
wow,
I guess, the most surprising thing, aside from the initial aspect of the scale of how many floats y'all had, and the fact that they were all full on the first ride was surprising. But the fact that y'all were able to get so many of the real highlights of even Uptown parades down there, that we're like, man, this feels like a great kickoff for Mardi Gras, because you're early enough that it's like, okay, it's on, you know. It really feels like that's my kickoff these years, you know, from now on.
Well, it's really a case of you're trying to touch all the bases and bring the best. And the Mardi Gras cruise, as you know, all year long we do fabulous things. And there's so many parties, and there's so many philanthropic things that we do, and you know you're involved all year. But the parade is the signature event, and that's really where you got to put your best foot forward. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring groups to Slidell that had never been there before, and really try to capture the essence of Mardi Gras. And it's tough, you know, when you're a new crew and you're outside of the Uptown route of New Orleans, going to some of these marching groups and saying, you know, hey, you want to come to Slidell? It's kind of like, well, who are you? You know, what kind of parade do you have? And you can see the reluctance there initially. So we were able to bring a couple of them over, and very quickly, just like you saw, when you're like, well, this kind of has that feel of a New Orleans parade. Yeah. And the word very quickly got out. And we do a lot of scouting of groups. We go and you know, prior to parades, during parades, after parades, really watch to see what do these groups look like, how do they interact with the crowds, what do they wear, what size are they, and we've been pretty successful. So we brought Southern University's band in for the first time. They're back again. We brought 610 Stompers for the first time to Slidell. They're back again with us. We've got the Mandy Milkshakers from the North Shore. We got the Mufaladas. We got the Disco Amigos. So from fabulous bands, Walker Landry, Landry Walker here in New Orleans, to all over the North Shore, to Baker out of Baton Rouge. We try to bring them in, try and change them up every year, give you a little different feel.
Yeah.
But we've got a pretty good lineup.
It's a very impressive lineup. In fact, I know that on y'all's Facebook the past week or so, y'all have been highlighting some of the groups that are marching with you.
You'll see a lot more this week. Yeah, we love the Clydesdales. We actually have a Marine as king this year, so we're very happy to have the Marine Corps back with their
Awesome.
band and their color guard as well.
You'd mentioned that the first year y'all rolled with a sizable crew, and y'all are continuing to grow to where, you know, I mean, y'all are reaching the 1,000-member mark. You know, I mean, you're not too far away from it. That's a very impressive feat over a small period of time. How have y'all been going about increasing your membership like that? Is it has it been because word of mouth and people seeing the quality of parade that y'all are doing, and you know, the reception from the crowds that is encouraging it, or are y'all doing marketing on, you know, on a parade level?
Well, most of our people are from the Slidell or greater New Orleans area. We do have people from probably as many as 18 states. Most of those are friends or family of others or lived here before and want to come back. The first year we were told we needed 10 floats and 120 riders, and we went out the gate with 440.
Wow.
We kind of laid out a business plan and kind of told people really what we wanted to do, and they trusted us and bought into it. And after the first year, people who rode with us were kind of excited to quickly sign up again. We had a, we want to call it a dead float. We put an extra empty float at the end of the parade, which you may have seen. And that was for two purposes. One, just in case we had a breakdown. But the other thing is we put a bunch of mannequins on there. We put a bunch of signs and said, this could be you. And it kind of resonated with a lot of people. They're like, that's cute, you know. And we went to 501 the second year. We went to 580. We went to 628 last year. We've gone up to 783 this year. So it's kind of more of a managed growth, which, you know, you don't want to go to 10,000 overnight, because then you have issues. But hopefully we can continue, and you eventually find maybe that place that we're really happy with.
Have you gotten to the point where, excuse me, have you gotten to the point where your floats have become largely friends and family groups, to where that float is more or less its own little subcrew? That's how a lot of them tend to get over the years, and wonder if that's part of your growth, where this guy's like, oh man, you got to do it with me next year.
It happens a lot. I don't know if you want to talk about your float group.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we joined a group just because we didn't know very many people in Slidell. So my wife and I both grew up in New Orleans, but we moved away in '84, as I said, when I joined the Marines. So we've been trying to get back. We've been back for about 5 years. While we had 3 generations of family on both our sides, we didn't know very many people. So we joined Poseidon simply to meet a lot of other people. And we joined a group, and they bonded with us. So a lot of the parades in New Orleans are all about the parade. I should say the crews in New Orleans are all about the parade. They have no social activities in between. Poseidon does a phenomenal job of making sure that there's some events going on a regular basis to bring people together. And then it's up to the lieutenants to try and make sure people talk with each other and they like each other. And it's not just about family, it's about friends. So almost every month we've got something going on in the crew that brings people together. A crawfish boil, some other outing to get people together to bond with each other, and also to serve the community. So the week before the parade, we'll go to the help me.
Retirement community, Somerville? Or
Yeah,
which one?
we'll go to different places like high schools, the retirement communities, to bring the parade to them, to bring Mardi Gras to them as well.
Nice.
And that's part of what we love about the parade, is that it's very unique unto itself.
A lot of the non-parading crews, I would say, do a lot of those kind of monthly things where, you know, it might just be a dinner party somewhere, or they do a little benefit, and that basically most of the time just raises money so they can throw their ball, because they don't have the kinds of dues that parades have. But yeah, I think you're right. A lot of the crews, you know, with a couple of exceptions, don't do a lot outside of the main parade and ball and maybe one other function. You know?
Do you guys have any fear that the parade might grow too fast, too large, where it might balloon in a sense?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know, keeping that thought, and I don't know if that thought has crossed your mind, but getting ahead of that and kind of controlling it before it gets out of control.
Yeah, I think we've kind of done a pretty good job of managed growth, and a lot of that, you know, you try to explain to people very early in the parade year. You really need to know what to expect for budget purposes and so forth. And I don't know that it would grow too huge, too quick. We have outgrown some of the venues in Slidell, so we have our ball at the Casting Center in Mandeville simply because we don't fit anywhere in Slidell right now. But we could hold a few more people, so we're not quite there yet. But if we did get to a point, to give you an idea, this year we're actually brought over 6 floats from Metairie to Slidell. We have a fantastic float builder, but they were out of floats, so we had to bring in 6 more just to accommodate us because we've got 31 this year and we've got a bunch of tandems. So there are little things like that that do occur, but we've been trying to project pretty well, and I think we're doing pretty well there.
How many people are you at right now?
As of today, I believe it's 783.
783. Do you guys have a number that you're like, all right, we can't go past this?
If you get more floats, the difference that you see when you get outside of uptown New Orleans routes or Endymion's route is you don't have some of the floats that are designed to hold 100 people. So, most crews, most float builders are building floats that hold 2 dozen, 3 dozen people. And if you add more people and you can't add larger floats or more tandems, you don't want to get to a point where you have 40, 50 floats because then it not only does it get quite repetitious and the parade gets extended, but then you're looking for filler groups in between. So that would be a problem, probably more float related than anything. As long as you can resolve that, then everything else I think would fall into place pretty well.
Does Slidell have in place the kind of rules at New Orleans, and I don't think Metairie does, but to where you're limited to the number of pulls, they call them? Because like a tandem only counts as 1 pull. So like you'll see these ridiculous 4 and 5 tandem floats, but that's limited to, I believe the number is 45. Does Slidell have any kind of rules like that, or they just go, hey, bring it on,
I don't think Slidell's ever had a problem with that.
Yeah.
So now that we've grown to this point, we'll just have to continue to work with the city to make sure it does not become an issue with them. But one of the things that we do, when we talk to these groups, we don't want to put 2 and 3 and 4 groups between floats. The type of groups that we're looking for have to pretty much hold that spot down on their own. So, if we put a float in front of you and behind you, you got to lock that down. And if you're not big enough or capable of maintaining that space, then we're probably not going to have you as part of our crew. So we want it to be to the point where you see a float, you see a band, you see a float, you see a marching unit, and to keep things moving along. Because we all know, as much as we all love everything, you don't like stoppages in parades, and they happen, but we try to do the best. And Slidell does a fabulous job, and our police department does a fabulous job of really trying to keep things moving. But as we grow, that's something that we work with them kind of hand in hand to make sure that it doesn't become a problem.
Plus, moving to night now, you're basically running alone too, right? You don't have, there's no early parade, right?
Not that day.
Not in our day, no.
Bilge out on the water, yes.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what we did last year.
Yeah.
Went to Bilge as well. Like I said, we good at all of them.
Good.
I know that y'all's theme this year is Louisiana Saturday Night. Tell us a little bit about that theme and what y'all are going to highlight with it.
Well, if you take a look at all of our floats, they all have something to do with Louisiana. So you're going to see things from cuisine to jazz. We've got a float that's going to, I think, be pretty popular this year called LSU Sports. So it was already probably going to be pretty good. Now it should be fantastic. So the lieutenants on that float have asked us, can we put stuff on there with national champs? Absolutely. Go for it. We've got one that's called Lanyap, so it's got a huge fleur-de-lis on the front. So as you go throughout, you'll see a lot of characters you recognize. You might have seen, you said on our Facebook page, we had Arthur Hardy present at our open house, and one of the floats is called Mardi Gras. It's a large float, tandem, and the prop on that this year is Arthur Hardy.
Yeah.
You know how props, people know in the Mardi Gras business, props don't get thrown away every year, they get reused, and that was a prop that was actually an Einstein prop. And when I saw it a year ago as Einstein, I'm like, kind of looked at it a few times, like, I don't know about Einstein, that's Arthur Hardy. So we had mentioned to him that if we did a Louisiana theme this year, that we would change it. So we did, and it's worked out well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful float.
It is.
I have seen the pictures on y'all's social media. I know that also this year y'all are going to have a Grand Marshal. In the past few years, y'all have had local celebrities and celebrities riding in the parade. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we're a co-ed crew. and we have 2 Grand Marshal floats each year. Up at the front of the parade, our first 2 floats are always female Grand Marshal, male Grand Marshal. So we've had quite a few people over the years. This year, if you want to introduce our female Grand Marshal.
It's going to be Becky Foss. So if you've ever heard of Becky Foss that does the incredible pictures that are all impressionistic, she studied under Terrence Osborne, so she mimics his style to an extent, but it's her own vitality that comes through. So that same vitality is what we mimic in our crew. We bring the crew to life. We try to show the people in the city of Slidell what Mardi Gras could be like in Slidell, and I think she will mimic that very well for us.
She's the one that's been doing the Dr. Pepper commercials?
Yes, yes, exactly. She did
No,
the
recognize the name.
Did the National
LSU
Championship?
The LSU Championship one, yes.
Oh,
that was her
okay.
picture.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. We're going to see if we can get something depicted on the float as well from
Yeah.
her. So, and then our male Grand Marshal is local from Slidell, well known, and that would be jazz musician Ronny Cole.
Yeah.
And of course, he grew up in Chicago, has been in New Orleans for years. If you ever get an opportunity to talk to him, he was actually convinced to come down here by Al Hurt many years ago. So if you go back and look in the history with the 2 of them and Pete Fountain, very well known, very popular, and he's very excited to be with us as well.
Yeah, that's 2 great Grand Marshals. I know also you are going to be king this year.
Yes, I am. I'm extremely excited about that.
So tell us a little bit about the process to become king. What's the selection process like for your crew? Y'all do like a king's court, or how's it chosen?
That is one of the things that we do keep under wraps. Because we like to surprise our audience during our ball. We do a summer ball. Let Charles talk about that here in a minute as to what that means to our kings and queens by doing it early. But if you have interest and you're members of the crew, you can submit, and that comes just kind of secretive, comes to the captain of the crew, at which point I hold those. When we're ready to make a selection, we usually make them a couple years in advance. We have a board of 8 officers, and although it says the captain makes the decision, I always consult with 4 of the officers, those who are in their second half of their term, and say, okay, here's who I recommend. And we've had so many great people that have applied that we sit down and it's pretty simple usually to say, yeah, that's who we want. At which time we sit down. I sit down with the incoming king and queen, and we've got a little binder there that kind of explains to them all their duties and all their contacts, and kind of gives them a little idea of what they are to expect coming up. And I think the last page, as you can tell them, says, it's pretty much top secret. Do not share this with anyone. And it's interesting because when you're announced at the ball, and we pull some little tricks sometime at the ball, sometimes there'll be people that will actually be on the floor during the tableau, and then they'll disappear, so people don't expect to see them. And then when they come back at king and queen, it's like, wait, I just saw them. So we like that, a little surprise there. But I'll let Charles explain to him.
So most of the Mardi Gras crews that I'm aware of have their coronation ball days or weeks at most ahead of the actual crew.
Happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, having the coronation in July and having a full year to reign, but 6 or 8 months before you ride is extraordinary. It brings us together with the crew in a whole different way. We meet people as king and queen. We bring the crew to people in a way as king and queen that you would never be able to if you only had 2 or 3 weeks to reign as king and queen. So we're really excited to be part of Poseidon because I'm part of that. But beyond that, when you're king and queen for 8 months before, people get to know you. You get to know them. Yeah. And as I said, we have so many social activities, almost 1 a month, that people are always talking with you, interacting with you, and we bring the crew out to the city.
I know a lot of the Metairie and New Orleans crews, royalty, will do a dinner together and all that kind of stuff, and some guy will host one party and another guy will host another, and it's a big to-do. It's an all-year-long thing. So they do reign for the year, but it's sort of after the parade, not before. Do you participate in any of that kind of stuff, or is that part of the secret that can't be shared?
Well, actually, since the beginning of the year, since All Kings Day, we've been to 5 different Mardi Gras balls from other parades that are in our area, and we love the reciprocity. We want them to be part of our organization and our revelry, and we want to be part of theirs. So we're all part of the crew of Mardi Gras, and we love sharing with them.
You know, it surprises me how much there's not competition in Mardi Gras. Everybody's trying to help each other, which really surprised me, to be honest. It seemed like a lot of them would be a little more cutthroat, to be quite frank, the way it feels like.
Or at least hold their cards to their chest.
Yeah, well, let them do that. But I mean, it surprised me to learn how often, like, oh yeah, their warehouse caught on fire, so we gave them all of our floats for the year or something, just to make the parade go. It surprised me how often that happens.
As much as I enjoy riding, and as soon as we turn, it's kind of like, okay, full year's work is coming to fruition now. It's still, even on the float, it's still work because you're throwing to everybody. When the parade's done, I love being able to tune out my crew for a few weeks, and it's a nice thing about being the first parade. I can go enjoy everybody else's. So I'm glad there's a bunch of other crews, and I'm glad we've got half a dozen in Slidell, and I'm glad we've got a ton of them in the New Orleans area, because I can kind of just forget about my work for a little bit and just kind of enjoy Mardi Gras, which, it's fun all year long, but it is work. So it's nice to be able to, so I'm glad we're out front. It's good.
So do you actually get to enjoy the parade?
Our parade?
I mean, as far as not the ride, I'm saying, like, you must ride in the front, so do you get off and watch it as it comes in?
Being one of the first floats, in the last few years, the way our parade has ended, it's kind of doubled back and stopped. So I sit up kind of high. So I have been able to watch all the floats and all the bands and all the groups. It's been fabulous. Slidell changed, not the route, but the disbanding area this year. So we're going to pull off. So I won't have that same opportunity. But our king and queen, who I'd offered to come over to my float to see it, when I told them that the Slidell was changing that, they're like, what do we do? So we actually just talked a little while ago. We're going to have a little stand for them right at the end of the parade, where they're actually going to get off their float, and they'll be up elevated a little bit, and they will have a little stand where they can watch all the groups turn one way and all the floats go the other. They'll be right there in that little V. So they will get to watch their whole parade, which I don't know that happens a lot with crews either. And the kings and queens always say, I want to watch my parade.
Ashamed to where this is an all year long job you have. You get to ride it, but you don't even get to see it.
And that's another extraordinary thing that Ronnie's doing for us, is letting us enjoy the parade, but we'll be amongst the people. So we'll be right there. So I'm sure we'll be interacting with a lot of the people who came to the parade. And kings and queens never get down into the crew, into the revelers. They never get to sit next to the people who came to see it. It's always just to pass by and then they're gone. But us being there for, it's going to be almost an hour, maybe longer, that we'll be sitting there. A couple hours we'll be sitting there, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunity to talk to the people and help them understand what the crew of Poseidon is all about. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, that's a great idea to make that available for the king and queen to be able to see the parade. So I see that y'all brought a few props here. Can we talk about a few of them? I mean, one of them that's like the pink elephant in the room for me.
So I'm actually going to leave that for last. We're going to make you wait for that.
No.
We're going to start with these guys. And I have a bag for each of y'all.
Going to shoot out of this
And-
thing.
Thank you.
So my daughter, Alyssa, has started a program called Purpose, Green, and Goals. And it's designed to have sustainable throws. Rather than just throwing thousands and thousands of pieces of plastic that people may or may not ever keep. What we wanted to do is create things that are made out of something, obviously not plastic, but things that people may want to keep for a very long time. So you see the tambourine, which is embellished with our logo, and the maraca, which is also in there. But as you dig deeper, you start getting to some really interesting things. Now, all of this is coming off of only the King and Queen's float. So that is a bottle popper. And that is the Queen's throw, obviously, because it's pink.
Yeah.
So we're trying to throw.
What's a bottle popper?
So you put it on a bottle and you pop the top off.
Nice.
And then you also see there's a blue, and those are stainless steel tumblers that are laser
wow,
engraved.
thank you. That's
That should be
beautiful.
something that people should want to carry for forever. And
Yeah,
that should be things that people
absolutely.
come out to see our parade and go, well, what is the next king or queen going to get? If we got a tumbler this year, and we're trying to up our game every year with what we do. Ronny,
No pressure.
Ronny ups the game on what the lineup is, and as you had mentioned, all the people who are in between the floats and what the floats look like. So we felt we had to up our game on what we're going to give to our people that come out to see us.
Merchandising.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you.
And for those of you who are watching, the logo on it, it's the crew theme, and it has the the king and queen's names on it, and then on the back, it has the crew Poseidon's emblazoned logo, along with the saddle shooter.
So to give you an idea of just what a king's crown looks like,
Wow, that is
now these are made specifically for us, but
wow.
the unique thing is they're all personalized. It's not like one crown is used year to year to year. Each king and queen get their own crown, so they make it unique for them.
Do they keep it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
So
lame. You guys should keep them.
we keep our
Oh,
own
the
because
king
they're
queen
unique
keep 'em.
for us.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the kings
I mean-
and queens keep them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So on mine, on the back, is an EGA, which is short for Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, because again, I'm a Marine, my initials. But when you see it at night, you can imagine this thing being hit by lights at night. Now it's nice during the day,
It's
We
fun.
have-
but the
Oh, yeah.
lights at night will
You
be
can't
amazing.
see it right now, but
It's
I have
glowing.
so many lights on it. It's
Excellent. So you get an idea of what you'll see parade
Yeah,
night.
that's beautiful.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Oh wow.
To be honest, have you been wearing that around the house? You know?
As often as possible. I go mow the lawn in this thing.
It's time for the king to watch the Saints game. You know?
All right,
That
so
is beautiful.
you wanted to talk about the elephant in the room. Let's go. So before we hit the elephant, one more thing. I had talked about sustainable throws and my daughter. So these, if I don't kill myself, these are actually made out of wood, and those are going to be the type of throws that we'll have for the parade as well. It's
Wow.
a labor of love to make
Yeah.
those. They're all hand strung, but she made those for us. In fact, Ronny has a pair as well.
Wow.
That's the Tigers. But it's all wooden beads, and we want to give something to people that they would want to keep. It's unique. It's different. It's just not a piece of plastic, just like every other piece of plastic
if
is.
someone's not paying attention, that's gonna hurt.
So we have to be
This isn't
very
any
good point. We have to be
heavier
very
than that.
careful about handing them to
actually
people rather
very
than throwing them
lightweight.
at people.
Yeah, this
They're,
isn't any heavier than
never
a
mind.
plastic.
They're actually
thing.
lighter than the like 1248s that
Yeah.
you would catch, you know. So
Yeah, those are beautiful.
So,
something like that will not sit on the ground. It
Yeah.
oh no,
draws me
someone
crazy.
will pick that up.
Right,
Absolutely.
They
right,
better. They better pick it up.
Yeah, so often you'll see with beads, when it's the plastic beads. Unfortunately, so many
Thousands of
yeah.
tons just get scooped
Yeah.
up every year. Exactly right. So for years, the crew had a ceremonial trident that was passed at the coronation from one king to the next.
Yeah.
But it was never used during the parade. So being a Marine, I had to supersize everything, and I'm lucky that I have a fellow Marine that does things like this. So he and I work together in combination, and what you're seeing is a very nice steel trident. It's actually aluminum trident, but inside here is a surprise, and there's two switches just to make sure you don't do anything silly.
Something's gonna happen.
That's what you're gonna get to see all of the parade.
Yes, this is the coolest thing
Feel
ever.
the power.
Wow.
So it's a
Just press the silver button.
It's just a big taser. It's just
Two tasers.
Wow.
is it a functioning?
I've been
like,
trying
if
to
I-
figure out what those little
Dude.
probes were. for
Well, let's find out.
This is
I
incredible.
want to try. I want to try.
How heavy is it?
It's about 12 pounds.
Yeah.
I do feel
So
more
it's a
powerful.
functioning trident.
Absolutely.
That is incredible.
Next year, you got to get one that shoots out the top.
We're gonna have to work on that
That is insane.
one. And this will be on the King's Float, and we'll be working all night.
Oh,
so you come
that
out and
is
see the
so
parade,
awesome.
and you will see that all night long getting used.
That is so awesome. So I see also that y'all do have several of your other throws, which I would almost say are becoming like signature throws for your crew, to where, to go with the theme of the sea with Poseidon. I know that y'all have the dolphins and the seahorses, as well as tridents. Tell us a little bit about the throws that y'all throw out here.
Well, some of the things that we throw are traditional purple, green, and gold. But when we created the crew, being Poseidon, we wanted to have some things that were sea related. So we do have quite a few things. You'll see a lot of shells, you'll see a lot of fish. But we also wanted to do things in our own colors, unique to us.
Right.
So a version of this blue was the first color that we came up with. But we're a co-ed crew, so we very quickly said, let's not have all just blue. So you'll see quite a bit of like a turquoise, and you'll see quite a bit of like a fuchsia. So some of the things we've thrown in the last few years, you'll see we'll have quite a few of our colors, and as you mentioned, sea related. So
Yeah.
you see a lot of tridents, a lot of dolphins, and of course in pink as well. A lot of seahorses, and different light up tridents that we throw. Every year we go with frisbee, so we've had different versions. This year is our theme for 2020. We've used plastic frisbees. We've
I like how you
got.
actually printed the little spacer in there. For the
We've had
45.
mermaid umbrellas. We have a lot of light ups. Many things that light up. You'll see some of our traditional colors in the large blow mold beads. So a lot of the pink and blues will be coming off the floats. All your Poseidon type bags with goodies in them as well. All types of things that are in line with our theme, and had a lot of light ups that say Poseidon on it. So you'll have, I think we have
That's one of the other beauties
about
of
25
riding at
different
night.
things this year that have crew logos on them.
One of the other beauties of riding
Purple, green,
at
and
night,
gold.
you get to have all the light up.
The light up stuff, exactly. It's
Yeah.
more interesting and exciting than just, I got a pair of beads.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we had mentioned, I guess Missy had mentioned it early on that, once she takes that turn around Severn, part of the parade is then rolled, and she can kind of see the effect of the parade with all the light up items.
And of course, the thing you guys love the most.
The balloons.
And they just came in today, so we'll get you some copies of this year's.
Yeah,
but
we just got ours today as well.
so we've got those and cloisonne coins as well. So
Nice.
yeah, I'll show you this one too. This is a special gift that was given to me. Charles's wife also rides in Nick's. Of
Yeah.
course, Nick's signature throw is a purse.
Yeah.
So last year she's like, I got something special for you. So she gives me this purse. But this isn't the special part. She makes me, I'm like,
And you may recognize the seahorses.
I said, I don't care if I'm a guy or not. You're going to see me carrying this. So it's got the little chain in here, and between that, my socks.
My cousin made me her first year. It was probably, 10, 12 years ago when she learned. She made me a wallet that's that glittery.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I love it, but it's really, really pink and glittery.
We both leave our trees up, in tournament of Mardi Gras, but my mantle over our fireplace is, it's one of everything. So
Yeah.
it's got the purse, got the shoe, it's got the different things, So yeah, we like to have that one. So I grabbed it to them. Let me show you that one as well. So
Yeah, we actually have the seasonal tree down.
Don't put it back in.
all righty.
Yeah, you should have.
Are we done
everything
buffering?
up until then.
Yeah, we've gone with the smaller ones. We've gone with the bigger ones. Try to change them up a little every year. We've got actually today.
And you may
we,
recognize the onus for the Trident. That is literally where I got the idea. I looked at that thing and said, I want something to make Jason Momoa proud. I could see this guy holding that and going, yeah, that's a Trident.
So we've got tons of the footballs we've got this year. We didn't go with ones with our logo. They're our colors though. So they're blue and pink, and they're the spiky footballs, so they light up.
Nice.
But they look pretty because they're all just in our colors.
Yeah.
And so all that stuff came in today. We just started putting it in the den. So our throw pickup will start Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah, we did our pickup today, and it was, I was like, ooh, need that. Ooh,
Yeah.
each of those. But I'd gone on early, and I said 2 months ago, I was like, I'm not buying any more stuff. I got enough.
Until you go there and go, I got to have
Just
that.
still buying
Exactly.
more shit.
Yeah,
The impulse
Still
buying.
go and buy more stuff.
I still bought $60 or $70 worth of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people start getting excited. You know, being the first parade, I think, people's impression has always been you start slow and you work your way up, and the big parades are at the end. So we're kind of debunking that a little bit. But we do something different too. We just you might have seen it on our Facebook. We did it just weeks ago. Our final meeting of the year before the parade is a very short meeting, and it's then presentation to show everybody what's actually in the parade. Because we were saying a minute ago, you never know what's in your own parade. So we actually go through a quick do's and don'ts kind of what the parade ordinance says, and then we go into the whole presentation. It shows you from the banner all the way to the fire truck, and they get to see all the floats, all the bands, and they get to see exactly who's in what order throughout the parade. That's kind of turned into a big thing for us. We had 300 plus people, I think, at that event this year. So
Well, do you announce when you ride, where you're riding in the parade? Because last year we didn't know till, I don't know, the week before. This year we knew early.
yeah, we do the in the summer, just about a month after the ball. That's when they can first start selecting their float theme. And then it's later in the year that they actually find out where the float will be in the parade. And then this one we just did a few weeks ago, that's where they actually, we unveil who's marching with us. We kind of keep that under wraps. So, when they see the slide that pops up, 610 Stompers, in the crowds, and, when first time we put Southern up a couple years ago, holy shit, and so it's exciting. It kind of, especially after the holidays, everybody kind of gets the holidays behind them. It's their first time to start thinking Mardi Gras. So then as they get to see, that's our float, and people cheer, and 300 or so, and, we had the mayor stop by, the police chief came by, we had Arthur Hardy came for that as well. We had a couple other guests that came. Our Honey Island Clydesdales, he brought one of his horses and had it out front so you could see a Clydesdale up close and personal. So it's kind of turned into a big...
thing.
This year, y'all's parade is, what, the 8th? I
February
believe?
8th. A week from, 2 weeks from today, yeah.
15 days.
Yeah.
6 p.m.
And we're looking forward to
Good.
it. Like I said, every year we look forward to your parade. I would say almost more than any other parade.
Do you have a place you all like to catch it, like at the beginning, at the end? Do you have a preference?
We like to catch it kind of relatively in the beginning.
I'll
One
offer
of the
you
main
an option.
reasons-
We're going to have a royalty area that'll be our RV. It'll be right by Cash Saver. Come on out, join the family, join our friends. It'll be really easy for y'all because we come straight out, turn right, and it'll be right at the beginning.
Okay.
You're welcome to join the crew there.
Yeah,
The
we
main reason is because we get back and do Crew de Vue, is that night?
Same night?
Yeah, it'll work out
Yeah.
beautifully for you. You catch it right at the very beginning, right as we turn onto front.
But one of the other things that's really nice is, like you said, y'all have so many great marching groups with you. You're catching them when they're perfectly fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
They're not 15 parades in.
Yeah,
sure.
they're not 15 parades in.
Right.
They're not 4 miles down the route. You're getting them.
Good point.
They're the fresh horses, shall we call it? And to see them at that point, they're the most excited, I would say.
Good point.
To when they're just getting into that parade groove. So yeah, it's if you've never been to Poseidon, I would say there's no words to describe how awesome of a parade it is.
You just used one word.
Right, yeah.
Awesome.
It's definitely mark it down on your calendar. February 8th in Slidell, and y'all's
Roll.
route.
6 p.m.
Yeah, for those who've never come to Slidell for a parade before, it's so simple, so easy to get in and out of Slidell. The parade route is mainly 3 main roads: Pontchartrain Drive, Front Street, and Gauze Boulevard. They all have pretty easy access to Interstate 10. If you're coming from Metairie, coming from New Orleans, you can be home within an hour.
Yeah.
Parking in Slidell is all free. You can get within
Pretty
a
easy.
block of the parade.
Yeah.
You can get in, you can get out. It's very safe. It's very family friendly. So, if you're worried about bringing the kids to parades, those are great parade. Even though it's a night parade, it's a great parade to bring kids to. Very well lit. Police got a great hold on everything, keep everything moving. So,
And it's a good crowd, but it's not so bad that it's, you have to worry about your little kids and all that stuff. Like,
Sure.
Just the other day, a friend of mine was like, well, Mom wants to go to, have a Mardi Gras experience, but doesn't want to deal with Uptown. I was like, well, man, go see Village and Poseidon. That's a great day. That's two very unique things that you won't see, anywhere else, quite frankly. And that's a good Mardi Gras experience if you want just something like that.
watch a boat parade, go eat lunch, come back
Yeah.
and watch a night parade.
Uh-huh.
We got a couple other groups too. You mentioned some of the groups, and you're talking about being fresh. We like to have not only fresh groups but new groups. One that's only in their second year in existence. If you're familiar with the Uptown parades and you've seen the Lazy Boys, there's a
Yeah.
female version of that called the Cherry Chicks,
Yeah.
and they will be rolling with us this year as well. And they've got some very exotic looking. A lot of colors. So they'll be with us. That'll be a lot of fun. I think that'll be a new one for us.
Yeah,
as well.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Y'all had the Lazy Boys before?
No,
Feels like they have.
if they're watching and they want to come, just have them give me a call. Some of the groups from New Orleans, as I said, it's once they find out about us, then they're interested. But you can imagine groups like the Lazy Boys or Rolling Elvi or so forth. They got a lot of things that they actually have to move.
Yeah.
So logistically, it might be a little tougher, but we'd love to have those type of groups. We'll make it
Most
work
of the
for
Lazy
them.
Boys basically ride that chair to the route.
So lazy.
Actually, I tried to join them for several years, and their website just kept saying under construction. We're lazy.
Too lazy to make it.
Yeah.
Well, come on, man.
Those groups are fun, and they're unique, so people get a kick out of seeing them.
So where can people follow the parade?
A couple of things. If you're on Facebook, obviously they can find you there, find us there. And as you mentioned earlier, we are updating that every day, showing you who's actually going to be in the parade, kind of giving updates of those things. So you can follow us there. So that is just Poseidon on Facebook. You can go to PoseidonofSlidell.com and find us there as well. That's our website, so you'll find a lot of information on the crew. You'll see us in a lot of media coming up here in the next few weeks as well. And they can reach us at crewofposeidon at gmail.com also if they have any questions or if there's anything we can ask. Facebook Messenger as well.
And obviously the Mardi Gras Parade Tracker, the websites as well, will all have all the details and follow our progress as we go through the entire route.
Yeah, that's one of the other things that I don't think we've really touched on too much on this show is the parade tracker is a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about that. We go to 1.5 billion parades every year. Without the parade trackers,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to do it.
You'd have to do the old school system where you look for the skylight.
Look for the lights,
Yeah.
right. And we do that as well. You'll see the lights at the beginning, but you can also use the Parade Tracker app. So if you're trying to plan multiple events the same night, you can do that.
Yeah.
WDSU will be there with their tracker. WWA will be there with their tracker. Lake 94.7 will be there tracking as well and going live throughout the route. If you go into Arthur Hardy's guide, when you first go to the parades, we'll be the first parade. If you look on the opposite page, you'll see a full page ad for our crew also. Give you all the dates, times, entire parade routes listed on there so they can go there as well.
Yeah. Y'all are an incredible parade. Again, we look forward to it every year. I want to thank y'all for coming on. Do you have any last remarks or questions, really?
Well, I'd just like to tell people to dispel your notion of Slidell parades if you've been before. Go see these guys. They really put on a remarkable parade. And it really puts me in the spirit for Mardi Gras. So I really thank y'all for getting it going because it used to be a small build up until 3 days left and you're full gung-ho, but
Sure.
now it's it's a good start off and we parade the next week. So yeah, puts me in the mood.
One of the biggest things I love about this parade is I always love riding on the bottom because I feel connected to the crowd. You
Yeah.
can put things in people's hands, or when they've got a little child on their shoulders, you can put something on their head or give them something special for that. And you get to interact with the crowd in a different way than you do when you're far removed. And having ridden in New Orleans crowds that are 20 deep and different crowds that you have, I feel that, as you had said, it's a very safe, secure, family-oriented environment in Slidell. That people are very respectful of each other's spaces. You have ladders, you have step stools that people put out, and no one's competing for each other's space. They're very family oriented, and it's a
Yeah.
very safe environment.
Yeah, it's a great parade. Come out and see it. To close out the show, one of the traditions that we've been doing is we usually have a little clip that we show of Kirk and I afterwards, to where we're talking about our links, and we do a toast of king cake. Since we're getting so close to the parade season, it would be an honor if y'all would do
Absolutely.
a toast of king cake with us.
Like so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got it.
Ooh, we get to toast king with some king cake.
Yes.
Very nice.
So to a very successful parade.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras. Signing out. We'll see you on the route.